Hey, Trainer Weaves here with another weekly Pokémon Go news video. On Friday, which is today, but by the time you guys see this video it will be over, we had a special one-day only event which featured female Pokémon. This event featured loads of Love Disc, female Pikachu, Clefairy, and it was the launch of the shiny Nidoran female family. We could actually catch Nidoran, Nidorina, and Nidoqueen wild and shiny. Not that I did, I caught none of those today. But it is the first time that evolutions in shiny form have actually been spotted in the wild. I don't know if this was just a one-off for this event, or maybe just for the Nidoran family, but maybe we'll be able to see shinies of other evolved forms as well. You never know. Earlier in the week we were treated to 2 new videos about Meltan and loads of information on how we'll actually be able to get it. Here's a little excerpt from the videos, and I will post the links to the full videos down in the description below.
I found this mysterious box at the same location that ancient text came from. But, well, when I opened it, there was only some sort of rusty lump of metal inside.
So there will be 2 ways to get Meltan in Pokémon Go. The first one, and I think this is the primary one, is to get Pokémon Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee and transfer a Pokémon from Go into the Switch game. That in turn will get you an item called a metal box in Pokémon Go. Open the metal box and Meltan will start spawning in your area, so you can catch all those. After some time the metal box will close, and you will have to wait a cooldown period before it opens again. Once the cooldown period is over, you send another Pokémon over to the Switch game, and then you can open your metal box again. So it basically seems to work kind of like an incense, only with a time limit between them. If you won't have access to a Switch, whether you don't have it yourself or you won't be able to borrow a friend to send a Pokémon over, there will be Meltan available in special research which is coming this winter, according to the website. We're also getting a new version of the app this week, and on Android this is interesting because we are finally getting access to AR Plus mode, if you have a phone that supports it. AR Plus mode is the one where you go into AR mode and you see leaves popping up over the ground, and then a Pokemon will leap out. So instead of the Pokemon just being there, you can sneak up on it and maybe walk around it as well. So on the one hand, yes, more fun, more stuff to do. On the other, stuff is harder to catch. I probably won't be using it. I have enough trouble with normal AR, but I have heard that it's a lot easier to catch legendaries with AR Plus because you can sneak right up to them, and then their catch circle is a lot bigger, so I might have to try that. If you do have a compatible Android phone, then the way to get AR Plus working is as follows. Make sure you have version 1.2.3 of the app. Then go into Google Play and download a thing called AR Core. Then you gotta fire up Pokémon Go, log out completely, log back in with your username and password, and the next time you try and catch a Pokémon, it should prompt you for AR Plus. If you decide you don't like it, then just as with AR at the moment, tap in the top right corner and you can just turn it off and go back to your normal catching. And finally, the best news of all! Gen 4 is so close. It's so close. They've actually said it's coming now. And we know it's coming because if you go into the Pokédex in version 1.2.3 of the app, you can see that they've added a whole new section for Sinnoh, which is the Gen 4 area. And our 2 main Pokémon Go app breakdown / data miners, Trails and Dronpes from the Sylph Road, have confirmed that the Gen 4 Pokémon assets are all in the game. So we're basically just waiting for the servers to switch on. If we're very lucky, then it'll happen next week after the Psychic event is over. I'm betting it'll probably, hopefully be around the 23rd at the latest, which is when Mewtwo leaves and we'll have to have another legendary. Either way, I'm so hopeful for Gen 4 to be here before the end of October. My other reason for thinking the Gen 4 won't be out before the 23rd is that when Niantic announced it, they also said that they were going to do a whole bunch of balance changes for the game. From the website, we are making adjustments to weather, and moving forward it will have a reduced effect on the rate at which Pokemon appear. I'm all for this because I've complained about living in partly cloudy weather before, Partly cloudy means that we get way too many normal spawn Pokemon. By all means, bringing in the weather update was great, but it's too overwhelming, and it will be nice to see a variety and maybe a little bit of a boost depending on the weather. Not the almost total domination that it is now. As you explore a given area, you will notice that a greater variety of Pokemon species will appear over time and at different rates. Not sure what that could mean other than, hey, there's more generations. So I guess we'll find out what that means in time. And then the last one, certain areas such as parks and nature reserves will now contain more varied Pokemon species. This is an interesting one, especially for where I live. We have a bunch of parks, we have a few nests, but they're really small. My closest park, even though it's small enough that you can cross the whole thing in like 2 minutes, it seems to have 3 different nests in it. So there's one nest that covers most of the place, and that gives you 4 of the same Pokemon, approximately. And then there are 2 other nests that appear to be a single spawn each, but they are consistent and they do change every time the nests change. So, hopefully this update won't make that situation worse. The most interesting theory I've seen is that they could be moving to proper biomes instead of nests, or possibly proper biomes as well as nests. So instead of it being like a single Pokemon that spawns throughout the entire park, or as I understand it in the case of Long Island, the entire place, it would be a biome. So instead of being a single Pokemon that spawns throughout the whole thing, maybe this migration you get a selection of water Pokemon. On this migration, you get a selection of fire Pokemon. From what I've seen, this is how it was at GoFest, so they do know how to do that, and it could be an interesting move. I know in our big park, we do have one park that is a proper big nest, and by the time you're halfway around, you've caught 14 Chikorita. Fine if you're hunting for shinies, terrible if it's something that doesn't have a shiny out yet. So it could be a nice way to mean that the park isn't dead for 2 weeks because it happened to spawn a Rattata nest this time around. They're also rebalancing the in-game battle mechanics, and given that they've previously said that PvP is coming at the end of this year, could be a precursor to that. So you may see CP of your current Pokemon going up and down, which means rest in peace all those 69s and 420s. What they've actually said from the website is, CP values will be adjusted going forward to improve game balance. HP values will be adjusted to close the gap between high HP Pokemon and low HP Pokemon. Pokemon defense and stamina values will be retroactively rebalanced, allowing highly defensive Pokemon to be valuable in battle by outlasting opponents rather than simply running out the clock. And defense values have also been slightly retroactively reduced for most Pokemon. Changes like these will help narrow the gap between Pokemon with the highest defensive stats and other Pokemon. And that is all the news for this week. Thank you very much for watching. There will be another news post next week. Hopefully going, look at all the Gen 4s. Probably not though. Good luck trying to get Shiny Drowsy, which I also haven't managed to get. Or in fact, anything shiny. For a very long time. I need to play more Pokemon. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye!